I am at point A, and point A, whatever it is, wherever it is, never succeeds in giving me full satisfaction. Is that true for all of us? Wherever we are, that point is never a point of complete satisfaction for us. Correct? And that's the reason we need to move to some other point. Now the question is, which other point? Which other point, and what route to take to that point? That is the foundation of entire decision making. So whenever we need to take a decision, we need to be firstly thinking of where we currently are, not where we want to reach. You see, usually when you have to decide, you only talk of the options, right? You say, I have to make a decision, and these are the options available, and among these options, I have to make a choice, correct? So let's say the names of the options are B, C, and D. And I have to make a decision between these three, B, C, and D. I'm continuously thinking, therefore, of B, C, and D. Which one to choose? Which one to choose? Is B better? Is C better? Is D better? Pros, cons. And if I'm picking up one of these, which route to take to that destination? The mind is totally occupied in this kind of thought, deliberation, BCD, BCD, BCD. Sometimes C appears great, and then someone comes and says, no, B is wonderful, look at me. And just as you were about to decide in favor of B, suddenly D shows up as the most lucrative one. And we keep just hopping from one option to the other. In life, it could even be E, F, G, H, X, Y, Z. What is missing in this entire thought process? Right from B till Z, the entire alphabet has been covered. We are thinking of all the options possible to us. What is the one little thing that is missing there? What is the one little thing that's missing there? The first thing, the starting point. The most important thing, but it is always missing because it is exactly where we are. And the eyes only look somewhere else. The eyes have no capacity to know exactly where you are. The mind is always busy thinking of the future and other places. The mind does not like to introspect, reflect, and know what the current reality, the present facts are. The mind does not like doing that. The mind has much more fun dealing in imaginations. Imaginations are dearer because they make you feel empowered. No, I have so many choices. I'm an empowered person. And each of the choices offers and promises pleasure. And A is not a point of pleasure. What is the definition of A, we said? A is a point of dissatisfaction. We stand at A and we are continuously dissatisfied wherever we are. So A is a point of dissatisfaction, and from B to Z, there is the promised satisfaction of various kinds. B promises satisfaction of B kind, and T promises satisfaction of T kind. But A is a point of dissatisfaction. So the mind is continuously thinking of B, C, X, Y, Z. A, it will never know of. But if you do not know the very story of your dissatisfaction, the details of your current situation, will you ever be able to take care of your internal problems? If you go to a doctor and he starts prescribing you medicines without diagnosing you, without asking for a pathology report clearly explaining your current situation, what kind of doctor would that be? So all of us are actually bad doctors to ourselves. We do not like to diagnose our current condition, but we want great medicines so that we can be healthy and powerful and beautiful in the future. But how can you prescribe yourself a course of betterment if you do not know what your current ailment is? Ailment, you understand? Disease, problem. If I do not know what my current problem is, how will I have a solution to that problem? But look at the way the mind functions. The mind does not want to go into itself. The mind does not want to go into its current state. And its current state alone is the problem. The mind does not want to go into that. Because it hurts, no? It hurts and it requires a certain discipline, a certain watchfulness. Instead of watching what is going on, the mind wants to deal in colorful imaginations. Just forget what is going on and start thinking of the various possibilities and colors and pleasures possible. Therefore, the first step in decision making is to ask yourself, why do I need to make a decision? What is wrong with my current situation? This appears like a very obvious question, but we fail to ask it most of the times. Why, first of all, is there a need to go away from A to any other place? What's wrong with A? And obviously, there is something definitely wrong with the place A. Are we together? Or are we all lost in this alphabet? Somebody is at M, somebody is at X. Are we all together at A? That's where we need to be. So first of all, why do I need to decide? If everything is hunky-dory, perfectly good, A is my home. I don't need to move an inch. But there is something certainly wrong with A. What is my current situation? The more you go into it, the more clearly it emerges where you need to go next. And if you do not go into A and just keep thinking of possibilities and alternate destinations, you'll be just entertaining yourself. You'll feel good, but that feeling will lead you nowhere. We'll talk of so many things, 5-yearly plans, visions for the future. You hear them everywhere, right from the ordinary household to the Parliament of India and the United Nations. Everyone is talking of the place to go to. But we do not talk as much of our real current situation and why at all are we stuck in the situation that is. There must be a reason why we are at A, right? There must be a reason. And if we do not address that reason, it is quite possible that even if you move to D, D will be nothing but another form of A. Because the reason you are at A might be an internal reason, not an external reason. Your problem might not be external. The problem usually is not external. Wherever you are at in life is because of something within you. Please note this down. Now you want to go to some other place, but you are carrying the reasons why you were at the previous place firstly. Even if you go to the other place, not much will change in your life. But we want to change exteriors. I'm not feeling well. The house looks dull. So what do we change? We do not change the mind of the occupants of the house. We change the paint. We change the curtains. Don't we do that? But what if the problem is right within you? If you know where the problem is, then you will know What is it that you really need to address? All our life we fight, we struggle, we strive, we want to be better, so we toil so much. Don't we all do that? Homo sapiens all work so hard in life. You go to the jungle, you do not find any other species working so hard. But we work very, very hard. Animals move about just either for food or for pleasure or for mating, and that's all. They don't really indulge in organized work. But we keep working almost 60-70% of our life. But still, no animal is as depressed and as dissatisfied as human beings are. There has to be a reason. This is the reason. We move from place to place without ever understanding the problem. So I want a solution, I want a solution, I want a solution. But what is the problem in the first place? That we never bother to clarify to ourselves. We just have a vague impression, all of us. We have a vague impression. And if you have a vague impression of the problem, all you will get is vague solutions. And vague solutions, you have aplenty. The world is nothing but a huge marketplace of possible solutions. Everyone is selling solutions to you. And in lieu of the solutions they sell you, they charge huge amounts of your life, your time, your effort, your money, your everything. How are people able to sell all kinds of solutions to us that don't work? Because we do not know our problem. When you do not know your problem, any solution appears possible and lucrative, does it not? You pick up a GPS system, let's say Google Maps, right? You put in it the place you want to go to. Would it work for you? Would it work for you? Let's say you have connectivity and all that. Would it still work for you? It won't. It will ask for your current location. We do not know our current location. We just want to reach somewhere. And we keep wondering, but I have written it. I want to reach the States. The Silicon Valley is the place I belong to. The GPS, even the GPS happens to be wiser than most of us. It will refuse to respond. It will say no, no answer. First of all, you should know where you are. Otherwise, no route is possible, no movement. We do not know where we are. So everything appears a possible solution. There is a certain dissatisfaction within me, and that dissatisfaction is the characteristic of point A. Right? Now someone comes and says, all right, let's go watch a movie. That appears like a possible solution. Someone comes and says, let's go settle on Mars. That too appears a solution. Now think of this. Settling on Mars appears a solution, and so does just going and watching a movie. Does that not tell of total ignorance about our inner state? Someone says, let's go. Let's have a game of table tennis. That too appears fine. Maybe this will work. Someone comes and says, you just sleep for 2 more hours, you'll be all right. That too appears worth trying. Someone says, oh, you don't have a nice mate in your life. Go get a girl, go get a boy. That too appears quite promising. Maybe that will take care of the internal unrest. Then some senior comes and says, dude, all you need is a high-paying job. And once you have that, you will start feeling good within. And you say, oh, now I know. That was the problem. The world, we said, is a huge marketplace that keeps on offering all kinds of unworkable solutions. They will not work. Not because the world is hell-bent on cheating us, but because we do not know what we need. Do we know what we need? Instead of discussing where we need to go, more than half the time, the energy in the decision-making process should be invested in knowing where we actually stand currently. But the mind has ego at its center. I know. I already know. Of course, this is where I am. Am I such a fool that I won't even know the ground under my feet? Of course I know. What is it that I do not know? Oh, I do not know that and that and that and that. So those are the places I need to go to and try. But this, my current situation, I of course know of that. I'm living it. Who else will know of it? I'm the master of my life. I know everything what is going on. No, sir, that's not true. If there is one thing each of us is deeply ignorant of, it is our own mind. That's the one secret hardly anyone is able to unravel. We might know of 1,000 things in the universe. A day might come when science might know everything under the sun. But still, the most fundamental unit, the entity that sees everything, will remain like a black box. You know of everything, but the one that knows of everything will remain unknown. All the mysteries outside have been opened up and solved. But this black box, so internally we'll continue to remain at point A. Externally, we have covered not only the alphabet, but the entire dictionary. All the possible permutations, combinations, everything meaningful and meaningless has been tried. And yet, we are in the same sad and sorry state as we ever were. A few data points for you all. The world is more prosperous today than it ever was in its history. Per capita incomes were never as high as they are today. And that's when we are talking of a population of 8 billion people. 8 billion people with the highest possible level of per capita income, and those per capita incomes are only increasing at a global average rate of around 3% per year. In developing countries, the rate of increase of per capita income is often 7%, 8%, 9%. China actually experienced 10% for several consecutive years. The kind of technology that we have today, the power of information at our hand, has no parallel in history. And we are living longer. Average age, lifespans in several European countries and Japan are already touching 90 years. The average fellow is living almost up to 90. Even in India, it has exceeded 75 years already. There are so many countries in the world that have almost absolute literacy now. In India too, in several states, literacy levels have now exceeded 90%. We should be very, very joyful. This should be the golden period of human existence, no? We have gone to the moon, we are going to the Mars. We have thousands of man-made satellites orbiting the Earth. And you have thousands of channels available for your entertainment. Science is even trying to make man almost immortal. If not immortal, then make people live up to 150 years. There is no disease so big that man is not challenging it and trying to find a solution. Even HIV/AIDS almost has a cure today. We all should be extremely delighted. Man is God. We have done that no previous generation could. And man is more depressed today than he ever was. Mental disease is today a kind of epidemic that it never was. Suicide rates today are higher than they ever were. We have more nuclear weapons ready to be fired than ever were. And we are closer to a complete climate catastrophe than we ever were. We are wiping out more number of species today than we ever were. In the last 40 years, we have completely obliterated more species than got extinct in the last 40,000 years. And that might be an underestimation. If you Google, you might find that it is actually 4 million years. The number of species that went extinct in the last lakhs of years is very small compared to the number of species we have completely wiped out. They will never return in just the last 4 decades. What's going on? What's going on? These should be the best of times. Instead, these are the worst times man has ever faced. Not merely man. All the species on this planet. In fact, the planet itself has never faced a worse condition than it faces today. And we live longer, we have more money, we have more technology, we have more knowledge. We have more power to destroy. You ask for it, you have it. You want to reach a place, you reach faster. You want to order a good, it gets shipped faster. What is it that you want? Tell me. You'll have it. Everything is available. Right from B till Z. And yet we are unhappier today than we ever were. We are not only at A. We have sunk to a place below A.